Want to bring in now NBC News legal analyst Misty Marris to talk more about this. Let's talk first about the strength of these charges here and what you see stands out in this indictment.
So what stands out in this indictment to me, we're going back to 2020. It's obviously going to be largely based on paperwork. And it's the idea that there were misrepresentations in this paperwork in order to receive more favorable loan terms. And specifically, as Kelly laid out, we're talking about an investment property versus a second home. What stood out to me in the indictment, if true, is that there is a section that relates to tax deductions that were made according to the indictment, as an investment property. So identifying the home as an investment property where the mortgage documents say it's a second home. So right there, there's something that will need to be ironed out in court. But at the end of the day, this case will come down to intent. Both of these statutes require knowing, purposeful, intentional misrepresentations for the purpose of financial gain and for the purpose of misrepresenting to that financial institution to obtain those better rates. So that's the challenge here always when you have an intent crime.
What does it say to you about the strength of the case when, with both James Comey and now Letitia James, the person who held the office of U.S. Attorney at the Eastern District of Virginia believed that there was not enough evidence to bring this indictment forward, and yet now Lindsay Halligan, a Trump appointee, has in fact brought it forward, who has no prosecutorial experience?
I think we're going to see very similar motions that were represented in Jim Comey's arraignment recently. His attorney saying, we're making motions to dismiss this indictment. It's unlikely this case ever goes to trial, very confidently. And the reason for that, you'll see a motion on selective and vindictive prosecution, meaning she's being targeted by the administration because she's spoken out and in fact gone against Trump in that civil fraud case. Obviously, there's a lot on the public sphere relating to that. So that's one piece of it. She's being treated differently than others. The other piece relates directly to Halligan. So all of that being said, you have Halligan who's bringing these charges. Others apparently had declined to do so. That's going to speak to that selective vindictive prosecution element. But there's also a challenge being brought by Comey's attorney that Halligan was not validly appointed. So if she's making the charging decisions here, she's presenting to the grand jury. If her appointment as a U.S. attorney was not valid, then the indictment is not valid, is the argument. So we're going to see those threshold motions very, very similar to what will play out in Comey, likely to play out here as well.
And obviously, this is a constantly developing story. So we're just getting in now that Letitia James has, in fact, been summoned to appear for her first court appearance on October 24th, 2025 in Virginia at 9 a.m. Misty Marris, thank you as well.